Champions Cup, the Friday game is Ulster up against Clermont. These are the two top teams in the pool. They both had wins in the opening round. Kind of different wins in terms of the way they got the results. For Clermont, it was a home game up against Harlequins, and they kind of ran riot over the course of the game, picking up 53 points. However, as someone mentioned this in the comments, the defence of Clermont does leave a wee bit to be desired in that they shipped 21 of their own, so 70 plus points in that game. It was a high scoring, entertaining one, but yeah, despite the fact that they did put 50 points on, they'll probably need to run a bit of a tighter ship in this trip to Ulster, whereas Ulster, on the other hand, their game was kind of the opposite. It was an away game, and they snuck past. It was 17 points to 16 over Bath. It was a top effort from the boys to get a result over there, and really puts their campaign in the Champions Cup off on a really good footing. It's a tough competition, so to get an away win is absolutely vital, whether it be by 1 point or 32. So yeah, it should be a really tight game, and yeah, whoever wins this one is essentially going to be sitting pretty at the top of the pool. So there's lots to play for. In terms of the lineups, there's not a whole lot of changes for either team. Ulster have made 4. Marcel Coetzee is still there at number 8. Jordy Murphy's at 7. Sean Reedy comes in at 6. Ian Henderson's captain at 5. And Alan O'Connor comes up from the bench at number 4. So that's the lock-in duo. Marty Moore, Rob Herring are there from last week in the front row, but Eric O'Sullivan also moves up from the bench. John Cooney's still at 9. He had a top shift last week. Billy Burns still runs the show at 10. McCloskey and Marshall still in the midfield. Ludick moves up from the bench to the right wing. Left wing is Stockdale, who's saved the game essentially last week. So hopefully we get to see a bit of him with some ball in hand in this game. But if he's making big hits or he's making big tries, either way, that's kind of good for us as rugby fans. And Will Addison continues on at fullback. There are a fair few changes on the bench as well. Clermont, again, kind of minimal changes, but they have rotated a fair few players. Fritz Lee is captain at 8, same as last week. Uturia comes into the side at 7, so that's a top-class French international back for them. Yato was phenomenal last week, so he's going to be a danger man for the Ulster boys to keep quiet. On the blind side, Tamani is in there in the locking duo with Jedrzak, excuse the pronunciation there, Slimani, Ulijia and Falgu are the front row, so that's the same front row as last week as well. Laidlaw has moved up from the bench, so he gets a start, the Scottish captain, so that means Para drops down to the bench. Likewise, they're playing McIntyre this week at 10, which means Camille Lopez drops to the bench. I don't even think McIntyre got off the bench last week, so a wee bit of rotation going on for them. Moala and Toiava, New Zealand internationals, continue on in that midfield, and they were very useful last week, so expect to see more from them with ball in hand as well. Raka, the danger man, is still on the left wing. Beetham, who I thought was actually pretty explosive last week as well, on the right wing, and Abendanon is at fullback. So, yeah, the bench is pretty much exactly the same as last week, except for Para and Lopez. So, a few changes, a few rotations. I guess the coaches are keeping guys fresh. Jack McGrath's injured for Ulster, so that's kind of an enforced change. But yeah, it should be an interesting game. I'm kind of keen to see how this one goes. They last met, it looks like, in 2016, and in that season they split their games. So I think Ulster won in Ulster and Clermont won in Clermont. So if that's anything to go by, Ulster should be favourites. When you look at the predictions, interestingly, the algorithm for Rugby Forecast has got Ulster by 5 points. So that's not a huge margin, but it's quietly confident. Whereas the bookies have actually got it pretty much down the middle at evens, but maybe the one I checked had Clermont by half a point. So about as even as it gets in terms of bookmakers' predictions. But yeah, I'm hoping for a good game. This one I think is on at 8:45 in the morning here in New Zealand on Saturday. So that's kind of a decent time to be watching. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. How do you think this one's going to go? And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.